Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Pageant Sit Down. It's episode 85 here, and we are super stoked. My name is Regina Lena, one of your hosts for this evening, and I am welcomed, of course, by our co-host, Elizabeth. Hey, Liz.
Hi, Regine. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. It's crazy to think that we've now been doing this weekly, and I'm really enjoying it.
Me too. It gets me in the pageant mood every week. I feel now the pageants are starting up a lot more recently with a lot of different systems happening. It's exciting. So anyway, with that being said, our exciting guest this week is Diana Lawrence, the founder and president of Dr. World Productions. Welcome.
Hi.
Hello, welcome.
Happy to be here.
We're happy you're here. I know, Diana, you and I have been talking for a bit now on getting you on the show, so I'm really excited that we made it happen.
Me too.
So, Diana, we've all been connecting on social media the last couple of years, but I know there are some people who are tuned in today who may not even know what Dr. World is or who you are. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So I am Dr. Diana Lawrence. So I do have a doctorate and I work as a university provost. So that keeps me extremely busy. And then I started about 10 years ago on the path towards the Dr. World Productions because I was doing a lot of community service and I was finding that there wasn't as many things for women with doctorates that haven't had any pageant experience. And we have some that have, but most of them have not. So I started Dr. World Productions. My main focus was 3 areas: Dr. World, Dr. United States of America, and a Dr. America. And then I had so many wonderful women come out of the woodwork saying, hey, but I don't have a doctorate, but I love education. I love what you stand for, which is education, mentoring, and community service. I'd like to do something with that. So we created Ms. Achievement. And so we have Ms. Achievement World and USA so that we can work with those women as well. So very blessed. It's been 3 years in the making to get some of the trademarks, still working through getting the rest of them taken care of, but it's a wonderful organization and the women are incredible. I'm so blessed to attract the women that want to be a part of this.
Mm-hmm. And your crowns are beautiful, first off.
Yes.
Let me just show you. For those that have not seen it took years in the making to get to this point. And you can see, obviously, there's a W for World, for Dr. World, and then our 3 pillars, and lifting other people up through mentorship is what that represents. So
wow,
that is our beautiful crown, and just so excited. And I didn't even know when I started this that women at the state level would want a state crown. So we now have state crowns, national crowns, and then the world crowns. And it's just attracting women that really want to celebrate their education and mentor people through positive social media. We see there's so much negative out there, and it just provides them with a different opportunity. And those that have never put their toe into the pageant water to really be able to feel comfortable with the women, and women recommend other women to compete against them. So it's about the sisterhood. It really is. It's not about them competing. They really are actually recruiting their friends to be in it because they're so excited about it.
wow.
Oh, we see it everywhere.
I love it.
It's been booming. Yeah. But you are the founder of a pageant system, but you also have your own pageant experience as well, right?
Yes. I started actually when I was about 14, a million years ago, and I had such a fear of public speaking. And so someone recommended a pageant, and you would think that's the worst thing you could possibly do, right? That's what I thought at the time. But it really showed me, one, I didn't die, I survived it. It wasn't that bad. And interview just was amazing. So I learned about that part, and it's something you don't really ever think about, but I use it all the time. When interviewing for a provost, you have 25 to 30 people in a room and you have to interview. That's a super panel, so it helped me. Through the years, I competed in many systems. I was Mrs. American Achievement. But my crowning glory, I think, was Mrs. Galaxy. I competed 1 year and I was second runner-up, and came back the next year, and I was bound and determined to do it. I suffered from anorexia when I was in college, and I really wanted to show women around the world that it didn't matter what size I was. I was a size 8 at that time, but my the top 5 were zeros, that you could really just put your mind to something and you can make a difference. And so with my $600 wardrobe, that was the kicker too, is being able to do it. So that's my biggest claim to fame. But I've been very blessed with multiple state and national titles, and just it's been a whirlwind, and I learned so much through pageantry that I try to get everybody that sits still long enough to understand that if you go into it positively and you go into it for the growth, it is really amazing. Really amazing.
Absolutely. I love everything about the Dr. World production system. I've obviously followed it for a while, especially since one of our own, Angel, was such a big aspect of it. I want to dive in a little bit more. So with the doctorates and people competing, how do we reach out? How do you guys reach out to getting contestants? I know you said there's a little bit of word of mouth. When you first started, how did you kind of approach that? Because it is such a specific person that you're looking for.
It's really true. I even had a friend who's no longer a friend, chose that, but said I was crazy for going into this because when I graduated, only 0.5% of the women in the country had an earned doctorate. And so, but that was what it was about, was the quality, not quantity. I wanted the small group of women, and I wanted them to work together, to feed off each other, and to bring their strengths and differences. So I never went into this going, oh, it's going to be this huge thing. We have so many of those wonderful pageants out there. I really wanted to start small, and I really wanted to connect. So I just started talking to women that had doctorates. I told them to share the information. I started doing a lot more social media than I ever done before to get the word out there. I did a lot with the crowns because I wanted something special. So that got people's attention. They're like, what system is this? And I was like, oh, and they're like, oh, I don't have one, but I know somebody that does. And then when I talked to them about how different the areas of competition are, that would get people excited. I also marketed myself being the ambassador at like the Kentucky Derby. I talked to hundreds of people about it because they would stop me and go, what is Dr. World? And then I'd explain and they'd go, oh my gosh. And so I got some press from that where they were just like, this is the coolest thing. I've never heard anything about this. And so it just kind of then snowballed from there. And then I got wonderful Angel where, how can you not love her? And so she became the face that year. And then I had a wonderful Dr. America and Dr. United States at the same time too. And they really bonded and became sisters. They even traveled together on their own time because they wanted to spend time with each other as they've developed in, their relationship. So it really just snowballed. And I think because it's different, and I think because the message is different and it attracts a different person, that have tried maybe the live pageants and said, well, but I don't have it in now where I'm in my career. And they go, well, this is really neat that it aligns with what I do. I mentor other people. I'm all about the education changing lives. And so I think that, and also my slogan, because smart is beautiful, it did get a little traction there from different people. We even did a campaign to try to get it out there. So that focusing on that it's about your whole person, I think resonated with a lot of people.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned that there are different categories
yes,
based off other pageants or your typical pageants. So what are those categories of competition?
So for all of the Dr. pageants as well as the Ms. Achievement, one of the areas that I love the most, I'm sure you've judged yourselves and you've competed. There's nothing worse than you go into an interview and you get 2 minutes or 3 minutes, or they don't really ask you the question very quickly so that you lose some of your own time and you really had important things you wanted to tell them. Well, one of our areas that I find that most people and the judges love it too, because I'm all about education in all directions, multi-directional. So the judges actually learn from the field presentations. The field presentations are 5-minute videos where each contestant is videoing, and they can't hire a professional photographer to do it. It has to be like on a phone. It has to be that no advantage because of money, because there's a difference between maybe what somebody makes as a teacher versus what somebody makes as a surgeon, So I really wanted to level that playing field. So they had to learn, even Angel will tell you, she had to learn how to edit her own videos. But so then they're learning through that process too. So they get to answer questions like why they went into their field, what advice they would give someone that was thinking of going into that field, what were the challenges, what were the things that they love about it, so that they could really use that 5 full minutes for the judges to know who they are as a person in their career. Because again, a lot of times you don't get that. You get the pageant piece and that 2-minute question, or you get the career piece, but you don't see the whole woman. So I really wanted that to be a big part of it. They also can film it anywhere they want. So it's not like an on-stage question or in an interview room where everybody's the same. They can choose, are they going into their practice? Are they going to go, do they teach art? What do they do? Do they show their personality? So they get that option too. So that was really important to me, that they get that piece of it. And that is about 10% of their score. Then obviously we've got the panel interview, and I usually have 7 or more judges because I really want that wide variety. So that's not unusual, but it is 50% of the score. Then even in evening wear, they can choose to wear an evening gown or evening wear. They get 30 seconds to 45. And the great thing about that is they can choose to do it where it matters to them. It could be in a garden. It could be on a dock. It could be on a boat. It could be on a stage, but it shows who they are, not just the gown they're wearing and how they're presenting themselves, but then they introduce themselves and tell an interesting fact. Again, rounding out that the judges really get to know them as a person. And our interviews also are our panel interviews, at least 7 minutes. So they get a full 7 minutes. So they get all of this time. And then the judges do get a resume. It's not one of, I'm sure you guys have done it, where you had to fill out on this one little page and you had to squeeze everything in there. They get to design their 2-page resume to say and cover anything they want to cover. So the judges get to know about their achievements. If they're into publishing, they've been an author, they've done scientific research. I mean, my Dr. World right now, she discovered a gene when she was at MIT.
Wow.
So they have all this opportunity, again, for them to get to know them. Then the judges also have to go out and search their social media for their presence. How are they educating people about what they do and what matters to them, because social media is so important. So it's a little bit different. And then we have a little bit, we have photogenic still, because we want them to show that they can be approachable, and we don't want overly, airbrushed or whatever, photoshopped. We want it to be like the woman. So the goal of what we're doing is for the judges to walk away, and every judge, knock on wood, I've had well over 40 judges on my panels. They all will walk away going, these are the most amazing women I have ever met, and I am so delighted that I got to do this. I mean, this is a lot of work for them, but they love it, and they get to be educated, and then they get behind and start following my queens, because they go, these are really neat women that I want to get to keep knowing and following. So that's what makes us a little different. I go off on a tangent. I'm so excited.
No, it's
about all the
great.
things we do.
I love it. I feel like they really get to know the women way more than, there's so many aspects and opportunities for them to show themselves and what they're working on. So that's fantastic. And to me, it's kind of surprising through your online platform that they're able to have that connection, but that's fantastic that you're able to do it. Maybe could you touch a little bit on about the differences between virtual pageants and in-person pageants, and some of the benefits that you've experienced as a director?
Well, absolutely. I think one of the ones that, you were mentioning before about being a contestant, one of the things that used to drive me insane was that you not only would you spend a lot of money on many, many days, and that's if you want to, that's great. But for me, it was always challenging because I'm a frugal person. So I would go, but that was always a challenge for me, the cost of traveling, because I'm a person that doesn't fly in the day of, because things can go wrong, and we know how that does. I have to fly in the night before, and then I have to leave the night after, because normally things run long. And like the thing that is different with my pageant versus the face-to-face is the live interview. So many times that the interview goes long, and I've had times where I was waiting 2 and 3 hours because it was running long, and then it interrupts what you're supposed to be preparing for to get to the next segment of competition, or it's going into, if you do hair and makeup, I've only done that a couple times, but there's a stress. And I know directors work so hard for that not to happen, but it just does. And so what I love about this is I can control, and I can't speak for other online pageants because I haven't competed in any online, with a virtual interview, but knock on wood, every single one of ours, the judges got out the minute they were supposed to get out. I never knock on anything. I don't have any wood around.
I will. Here you go.
Okay, there you go. But it has been very, and I think that that's also respectful of the judges' time because they've already put so much time in. The other thing I think from virtual, besides the money, saving money from the contestants, I can then charge a much, much, much lower entry fee because I don't have to have stage production. I don't have to have all that lighting. I don't have to have the stage hands. I don't have to, I don't have all that additional stress. The only stress I have is the technology stress and making sure all the video links work so that the judges get everything they need. But I think the trade-off is then women that want to put their toe in and don't want to spend $2,500 for an entry and then the gowns and the travel, they have an opportunity. And I'm not saying that I've done the other ones. I love them. They're wonderful. I usually need a vacation after I get back from them because I'm so tired. But it's just a different. And I think that that's what's so wonderful about pageantry today is there's so many options. And this is just one option and that's like my Ms. Achievement. I've had women say that that's what they like about it because in their busy lives, whatever they're doing, and we have many that are CEOs and, I don't want to take the 7 days that I would be away from my family when I could do 2 days of something and then be with my family for a real vacation wherever I want to go. If they don't want to have Disney or whatever, wherever some of the destination ones are. I would say that's it. But there's something for those that do live. I have to say, it is the energy. It's the energy in the room. The stage is amazing, and you feel like $100. I mean, the picture you used for the intro about this, that was 2 years ago with a lot of extensions in and all of that. But it was a gorgeous stage. I loved being on it. I loved being with the women in person, even through the pandemic pieces. So there's something to be said about that. And I do love that. And I do respect those women that can manage some of those massive, those things. But for me and in my life and with the women that I've tried to tap into, we have to look for that niche. It's the online works really well. And maybe someday we'll do something live. But until the women are ready for that, I'll just wait and enjoy what the flexibility it provides me too.
Well, that makes
long
sense
answer, but yes.
No, it's great.
No, but it makes sense because like in terms of if you are a doctor or you are in the medical field, some days you're working nights, some days your shifts are always different. So
Right.
Virtual is definitely the best place right now.
I agree. I have some online questions here that maybe we can dive into. Will you have a pageant for Miss delegates?
Miss.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I'm not there yet is because the Ms. incorporates both. It's 21 and up, and the reason I did 21 and up is so that if it ever goes live, I don't have to worry about the challenges that come with under 21. So the 21 and up, they can be in the Ms. It's not married. It's married, single, divorced. Anyone with kids, without kids, they can be part of the Ms. Achievement if they're interested in that. So I don't think so, but you never know. You never know. If it becomes popular and that a new division is needed, I'll certainly add it if there's enough women that are interested because, I'm happy with it as it grows, however it grows. And if it can, I will. We have a princess program for little girls, and that's so much fun. And they're just adorable. So they get their host queens teach them about we've had, teeth and talk, learning about your health through your teeth, and then how to learn how to speak in front of people. We've also had heart health and working your body and different things. So we do virtual with the little girls each quarter, a couple times a quarter, and we love that program. So that's that. We just don't have that in between yet.
Yes. Okay. That's awesome though. I think 21 and up, that kind of captures the main part of that category anyway. So that's fantastic. I wanted to ask you a little bit more about the achievement program. So are the categories the same for that pageant? Okay.
The competition areas are exactly the same. The only difference is the women don't have an earned doctorate. And I'm sure some of the viewers are accustomed to understand what an honorary doctorate is. Because of the way this system was set up and with the board that we have, it has to be an earned doctorate. It has to be from an accredited academic institution, and those types of things. So we wanted to have something that would accommodate the women that had an honorary or had a master's degree, a bachelor's, associate, certificate, professional, a PN. They could be a practical nurse, or they can own their own business and have been a successful business owner for full time for years. We really wanted to be that achievement comes in a lot of different forms, but even a restaurant owner should be educating people about the challenges of a restaurant, because a lot of people go into it and have no idea. And so that would be maybe that person's platform is to make people aware of that. But achievement comes in a lot of different ways, and so we wanted to accommodate those and support the women, because I got a lot of folks saying, I'm ABD, I don't have my doctorate, can I do something please? And so we're very pleased. We've had some wonderful queens and very fortunate with the women that have been representing it so far. So we'll just keep keeping on, I think.
I love that. It's amazing to see all the different women that are in both achievement and doctor. You have women from all over the world, and to see what type of fields they're all from is very inspiring, actually. Earlier you had mentioned some of your tidbits and your tips, and we are already at the halfway point.
Wow.
I know.
How did that happen?
I don't know. I have no idea. But we are at the halfway point, and there is a segment on our show, which is 5 tips from a beauty queen, and have been a beauty queen in the past, but also a pageant director. What are your 5 pageant tips for everyone watching us today?
Well, the first one would definitely be when you're choosing your wardrobe. If you don't have a big budget, or even if you do have one, I always recommend color and cut, because you can go in and find a gorgeous gown that is the right color for you, and it could be a wow on stage or even on video for a virtual pageant, and it really captures people's attention and it keeps them focused on you. You don't have to have a $5,000 beaded gown. Those are gorgeous, but you can still be powerful with color. And then cut. I love consignment, and I love things on sale. So to me, even when I competed for Mrs. Galaxy, I had to get it out of the doctor head. Mrs. Galaxy, I bought this beautiful, but it had this horrible A-line skirt, and by just shaping it and working with a wonderful seamstress, it became a gorgeous suit. So you can't be afraid of the cut. It is, just make it a better cut, and you can still stay in your budget. And same thing with bathing suit. I had one that was TJ Maxx, and it was like $35, and just make some adjustments, but the color was amazing. So I really encourage everyone that can wear color. I happen to be a winter, so I can wear the jewel tones, but if you can wear it, wear it. And if you can wear gorgeous yellows where you're vibrant and sunny, you should do that. So that would be it. Others, definitely hydrate. I see so many women that get so distracted at pageants or even at 5K events because they're volunteering and they're not hydrating. And I've seen women pass out and get so dehydrated and sick. I think that not only is it great for your skin, it's great for your, everything, your whole body. So a lot of people don't pay attention. I met somebody yesterday that said, I just had that drink of water and that's all I have for the day. And I was like, no, what are you doing to your cells? And if you want to be healthy inside and glow outside. I also think laughter is the best medicine for everything. I think that you've got to, if you're in a tense situation at a pageant, you're in one of those big, beautiful ones that have the gorgeous stage and you're wearing 6-inch heels, you make sure laughter, because then you glow from within. And I think that's something that people forget to do is, and I always say when you get on stage, think about the thing that you love that makes you so happy, because then you glow that much more. I always say that, and break your smile and then really think about that thing, and then your personality really shines through. Let's see. Hydrate, yes. Also give. When you give, to whatever charity, and I'm not talking monetary, but time. Finding the thing that is truly you, not just because it sounds good or it's good on the paper, really find that thing that brings out your heart. And I think that then allows you, the fifth one is throughout all competition, all life, you're true to you. And education's my thing, so I do book drives. Makes me happy to put them in the free little libraries, because somebody's going to get them and they're going to be able to, and the books are expensive. So, just do what you do consistently through everything you do.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. Those are 5 amazing tips, and I'm biting my tongue to like respond. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned TJ Maxx. That is probably one of my favorite places to shop. I miss TJ Maxx and Ross. I'm not gonna lie. We don't have it here in Canada, so when I go to the States, I make sure Ross is usually where I aim to go,
Mhm.
and then I go to TJ Maxx and then Target.
Yes, I love Target.
The
I
trifecta,
can never
yeah.
get out of there without spending $50. It's terrible. I go in for one thing and
Yeah.
Exactly. So you mentioned cut and color. So when we were talking earlier, it really brought me back to a diamond, and I know that you're mentioning, to shine from within.
Mhm.
So I feel like your all your tips are diamond related.
I even have a shirt because I'm an April baby that says "Born to wear
Me too.
diamonds," and it's in crystals. And
Oh, love
some
it.
people
Love
see
that.
it and they think, "Oh, well, isn't she something?" And I'm like, "No, I'm an April baby. Diamond is my birthstone." And I truly believe that yeah, that's me. Just try to
Mm.
I'm
sparkle
this
and shine as much as possible with
I'm the same
positivity.
way too. When people are like, "Oh, what's your birthday?" I'm like, "Diamonds, so give me more."
Exactly.
Yeah. My favorite of the cut and color was just the cost efficiency. I think that's so important to mention. Even previous worn resale items are great if you can fit, as long as you tailor it. If you tailor it
Taylor.
correctly, it can look beautiful and you can shine on stage. And it's my favorite. I'm not a big like sparkly like head to toe girl, but I
I
love, like,
am
for
head
example,
to toe.
for my last evening gown, it was just a satin yellow ball gown, and I loved it because it was bright and it felt like me. But yeah, it just depends on who you are and what goes with that. So I love you
Mhm,
mentioning that.
And our main sponsor is Queenly. And for
Oh,
those that aren't in Canada, they
mhm.
know what Queenly, and it's a women-run business, and they started and built the app themselves, and it's consignment, so in a sense, so that you can get things reasonable. I mean, I found a gown the other day that's like $400, and it is spectacular. So if I ever
Mhm.
competed again, it'd be the one that I would want. But yes, and also some people don't realize you can take two parts of the same two gowns and put them together, and it's amazing. It's just having the vision and finding a quality seamstress, because you can pay
mhm.
as much for the seamstress if it's good as the clothes, but you get something unique and fits you, and it's not, something just off the rack and
Absolutely.
special.
Mhm.
Oh, love it. Okay, I have another online question here. What is your favorite aspect of pageantry?
Oh, well, as far as competition, I love interview. As far as a director, I love interview. I get to sit there while I listen to these judges get their minds blown, and I have some pretty amazing judges, because you really get to see the women, and I love that part. And you can always, and some people say it's cliche to say, and the friendships that evolve, but it's true. Oh my gosh, I mean, I still have friends that I competed with in 1999, and that's how we met. And it's incredible that you can get that. You may only get one out of something. I just got a message the other day from a woman that I competed with, and I say that, but we became friends. She judged for me, so she got to see Dr. World Productions, and I got the sweetest note from her, just saying how she's watching this change and grow, and just how proud she is for me. And oh, it brings me to tears, because I wouldn't have met her if I hadn't gone to the pageant, and I wouldn't have had a great judge if I hadn't gone to the pageant. And if I wasn't in pageantry, there's so many things in my career that would never have happened. So the
Mhm.
interview and getting to meet people for real, mm, the real
Mhm.
Oh,
people. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean, if it wasn't for pageantry, Liz and I would have never met, and this sit
right.
down, pageant sit down would have never happened.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. It builds a community for
It
sure. And
does.
you put whatever you put in, that's what you get out. So,
exactly.
um,
Exactly.
I love that, and I love that I can do stuff like this and connect with people not only in Canada but around the world now. So it's really an incredible experience. Kind of talking about experience, I guess I would love to know what is to be expected if you were to be one of your queens in any of the pageants, any level. What would a year look like as one of your title holders?
Well,
Ooh.
that's what's really exciting, is each one of them are so different. So I'll use it, Michelle, who's my Dr. World first, as an example. She didn't even know if she could enter the she was very nervous. She's told people that, so I'm not sharing anything. But she'd done some modeling, but since she became Doctor United States of America, she's an anesthesiologist, and she's got beautiful daughters that she does a lot of things with, but she wasn't doing a lot for herself. She was doing everything for everybody else. And so her year looked like magazine covers and a lot of modeling, and really starting to make a name for herself as a very unique model. And that just took her out of her shell of and really embraced it. And she was just in Richmond Fashion Week, and she closed 3 shows. You know how they take the top model that out at the end, with 3
Wow.
shows that she was in. Now, for some, they go, oh, that's just, fashion. But fashion's power. You put on something and it changes the way you look at things. So for her, she's done a lot of charity things as well, but where I've seen her grow and her have an impact is people watching her evolve into this confident, amazing, unique model. And she did New York Fashion Week and some other things too, but just seeing her change. Now, then I have others that, whether they're a state title holder or not, they'll go from, I'll use one as an example. I won't use her name, but started as, every once in a while she would speak and for her office and her hospital. Then she became the spokesperson for a hospital just with her state title. Then she started working with the CDC. So she's constantly doing a lot of things, getting information out there. My Dr. America, she does a lot of things for her community, does a lot of 5K. She does a lot with education. I have a really unique, because I don't say this is what we're going to do for the year. I go, what do you want to do? What kind of trainings do you want to do? What kind of activities do you want to do? Because I want them each to do what works for them. I don't want it to be, this is our charity that we work for, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I want it to be what comes from their heart, what they want to do. So a year could be as busy as they want it to be. I even had my wonderful Ms. Achievement World. She is pageantry now, and she's done so many. I mean, in 2 months, she did like 70 appearances. Just crazy, crazy busy, because she wanted more people to know what was going on. So I was like, you need to slow down. She's doing so much. She just won an award for the Heart Association for Woman of Impact, Go Red, and for South Florida. But she is as busy. Well, she got a photographer that ended up. My Dr. World was going to be going to Miami with her husband. So they got together, they got gorgeous photos together. They got to spend girl time together. So again, it's about what they want to do to promote education, sisterhood, all of those things. So there is no one size fits all at all at any level here. And I've got singers and songwriters. I've got all types of wonderful, I even have a little list of, I've got immunologists and social workers, pediatricians, psychologists, product scientists, active, inactive, military, authors, directors of research, media consultants, dentists, teachers, singers. I mean, it just goes on. So they're all so unique that I couldn't just say, this is what I want you to do. I want to know what each of them want to do, and I support them as best I can to achieve whatever they want to do. And, just really blessed that they're doing such amazing things. My Dr. United States, she's going to be taking a trip across the U.S. and doing a lot of appearances this summer. They all are just, and she's an archaeologist, and she's also a CEO of a company. I mean, again, it's what works together. We're working together. It's a partnership, not, I'm not dictating anything. I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about what can we do? And can I do something to help? And that's what a year, and it looks like it's just taking advantage of every wonderful opportunity that they can get out and get exposure for what they're doing and what matters to them.
That's amazing. Well, let's talk about you for a second, because we've been talking a lot about your pageant, but earlier you said, if I ever compete again. So I have to ask, do you see yourself going back onto the pageant stage one day?
It's funny. I thought about it. I'd love to. The biggest challenge is we need to find a system that would be okay that I'm a director. Because that has been a concern for some, because, well, how could I possibly promote, somebody else if I'm doing my own thing? To put an example of why there's got to be a director out there that would love to have me, is that would be a good fit, is that, like, when I was Mrs. Achievement America, I only had to do 12 appearances. I did 104. I was never asked to do, and that was unheard of back then. That when dinosaurs roamed, in 2000.
Oh my gosh.
I always give 110%, and if I was representing another system that matched my system, we would be doing things together, and I would be promoting it just as much as my own. But it would have to be that perfect fit that they would be comfortable with me and what I stand for and what my system stands for, and that they'd be comfortable I'd be doing things with my queens and promoting theirs as well. So it's just finding that system someday that will see that, because I love competing. I love that it gives me my girl time for me. It gives me girl time at the event. I miss that. I'm a provost of a university, so I don't have a lot of friends at work because most people are in my department. And so, business is business. So I would love to have that opportunity. I don't know one that would see that as a good fit for what I'm doing, but I'm sure there's one out there. And so someday I would love to, because I love the extensions every once in a while, the pretty gowns, and I love, my favorite evening gown picture is the one that you used, because I felt like dynamite. I was in a good place at my time, and I was like, that's the best evening gown, and it wore black, and I've never worn. I'm like,
you look great.
Yes. Well, thank you. I had such a good time and met multiple women and one of them I mentioned earlier. I would love that, but we'll see if there's a system out there that would see that as a good fit, and then it'll give me something to get motivated to get the COVID weight off too.
Oh my goodness. Cut and color.
Cut and color.
That's it.
I was wondering, could you tell us a little bit more about you outside of pageants? A little bit more about your degree, perhaps, or
Sure.
things you like to do as a hobby?
Okay. Well, I work, like I said, I do the book drives. I also work with St. Jude. I work with the 5K and a gala. Of course, it got suspended because of what's going on with the world, but that's what I really enjoy. I also, outside of work, well, it's pretty much doctoral productions most of the time, but I'm a foodie. I love going. My husband and I have a date every week, and we go and do, get a nice meal and spend quality time, put the phones away and do that. And that really balances me. Another is outside my house, I have this wooded area where I see bunnies and deer. So my big relaxer is to be able to go out there and just watch nature come by. And, I do birds and bird feeders and all of those things. I love nature, and I that's what I really enjoy. Besides doing the charity work and the doctoral productions, I enjoy reading, and not as much as I used to because my eyes and computers, but I do enjoy it. And I love a good Netflix, marathon every once in a while. So outside of, this is so my focus right now is building Dr. World. So literally, I'm not a social media person, but to the point that it's also becoming an obsession of trying to make sure I'm getting all my girl stuff out. I have become like I can't live without my phone now. It's crazy because I just want what they're doing to make sure, and I also don't want to miss any of what they're doing to get out to people. But so right now that's taking over a lot of my life. So I need to get outside every once in a while and just relax with the greenery. And I used to paint, and someday I'll get back to that once I have space for that. But I love that. And photography. Photography is a big passion of mine. I love taking things and using cut and color and textures to take a picture, to really show all those dimensions. I'm about texture. I love it. So yeah, that's what I do pretty much outside. Nothing too exciting, but there's only so much time
time of the day. Yeah. You mentioned your husband and you guys going on date nights every week. How has your husband been with supporting you? Because I know, especially as a title holder in the past, and then doing over 100 appearances, and then taking over and doing Dr. World productions, and then Miss Achievement. Kudos to him.
It's been an adjustment, but he knows I'm passionate about it. So he will do. Down to whether I want to hear it or not, he'll go, what were you thinking about that? And so we've got a good relationship about it. But there's times when I do have to put the phone down because he's like, okay, you just did a 14-hour day at work, and now you've just done another 4 hours of this. I think it's time that we spend a little time together. And I love that. We've been together, married 16 years, and the fact that he still wants to spend time with me. I know that sounds so cynical, but it's just nice that he wants to sit together and watch something or do something, and his family comes and we play cards and old-fashioned card games, and just get back to the basics of what makes things special. And so I'm very blessed that he puts up with all the crazy and the sparkle and they got the crown order wrong again, kind of things, and the meltdown of I won't have what I need, because it takes 4 months. Yeah, he's awesome, and he really has learned to appreciate it, and he keeps me true to myself to keep some time for myself every once in a while. So yeah, he's a keeper.
That's great. Do you have any tips, I guess, for married women out there if their husbands are a little bit hesitant or if they're uncertain themselves on competing in pageants?
I think, and I've experienced it before. Full disclosure, I was married before, and that was the case. And what I learned through that process was you can't expect them to be as excited. You have to go into it slow. You have to show them the benefits, because they still are thinking the toddlers and tiaras, or some person ripping the crown off somebody else's head. They have all that negative fear. So you have to show them the friendships, and you have to show them the positive things. You get to show them that the community service pays off in the sense that you feel fulfilled by doing something. And then over time, they can become a good cheerleader. They won't be, that model husband that goes out to get you the pair of pantyhose necessarily that you're missing, but they will come along and they will get it. And the same thing even with my husband with competing here, even though he's I had to, kind of come around to, he goes, but you competed for years. Why would you compete in 2020? I was like, I need one more. I need to get on that stage again. I need to get my focus back on myself. I'm way too much at work. And he learned to come along, and then now he's had no choice but to come along. But yeah, I think that's the advice: is start small. Don't let the not having enthusiasm influence you, because as long as you're enjoying it and you're gaining, they're going to see the changes and transformations if you're growing through the process, and they're going to get excited about it at some point. But you can't expect them to jump in from the beginning, because some gentlemen just don't understand why in the world you put yourself through it, and then they competition hangover. They're like, why would you do that when you're going to be exhausted? And it's like, yeah, but the high, the adrenaline, and if they played football, then you have to tie it to that and go, listen, when you played football, that rush, that's what you get when you come out and you go, I've worked so hard in this bikini, or whatever. And they come along. It's just, you got to be patient and nurturing. I think, in my experience, and with some of my friends. But I've given that advice.
Yeah. We kind of talked about appearances a little bit, of like the amount you've done is fantastic. Do you have one that stands out as a favorite, or a project that you like to consistently do? I know you mentioned the books. Is there anything else, or could you tell us a bit more about that?
Well, and I think, the free little libraries, the reason that matters to me is, one is it's in most neighborhoods. Books are very expensive, and we know that I used to work with, and I was working with the organization with Dolly Parton, the Imagination Library. I think that's one of the most amazing organizations. Not only is Dolly Parton just awesome, is that what they were doing is children that were in needy areas and zip codes, they would get a free book every month until they were 5 years old. So they'd be more prepared for kindergarten. So I love that idea, even at an adult level, in the free little libraries, because they may be in the same situation where they didn't have the books, they didn't have the access to knowledge. And I know when I was a kid, we were very poor, and I'd go to the library and I'd get as many books as they'd let me check out, and it would transform my world, and it would take me places and things like that. So that's why I do it, is because they are expensive, and not everybody has access to get down to the library because of the buses, or you might have to take 2 or 3 buses. And how do I take that time away from work? And really is, am I ever going to whatever? So I love that. And it's because it's free, it's donations. Everybody wants to give me books. So I've collected almost 4,000 books just in the last 3 years. And so, it just, I love that, because that's something that people all can do, and share and, take advantage of. And it doesn't matter where you live. I've been in some challenging neighborhoods, but knowing and people thanking me coming out of churches going, thank you for putting those books in there, just because I want people to have that access to education. It's power. Knowledge is power. And if they want that access, they should have it in any which shape or form that they can get it. So yeah, that's why I love that one. As far as appearances, they're all so different and so unique and so special. I'd have to say probably the Super Bowl when it was in Indianapolis was my favorite, just because being part of that. I also was chosen as a captain. There was only 43 captains selected to be on the red carpet and do some things with that and meeting all these interesting celebrities and stuff. I'd have to say that was the most fun because it wasn't planned. It never happened before. No, they always give it to mayors and governors and, the 43 people. It was the first time Indianapolis did an amazing job. That's a whole nother story, but they did awesome in training, cleaning, organizing. It was incredible. So just being a part of it for a week, because I worked full time, but still volunteered all week, to be able to then do the flag for the Lombardi Trophy, walking out into the field. I mean, being a part of history that it's never happened before and never happened again, that the little old volunteers got to be a part of that. That was the best. Yeah, that was pretty right up there. I love football.
Wow. That's super awesome.
Yeah, I feel bad because I didn't have it on all of our faces. So you said Super Bowl, I'm like, what? Oh my God, that's awesome.
So it was a lot of fun, and I never had talent. So I don't have any stage talent, so I can't sing. So being able to be a volunteer and have that experience is pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so fun. Well, before we start to wrap things up, I know we're not going to talk about your pageant anymore, but if people are watching and are interested in learning more about the Dr. World Productions, where can they find some more information?
Absolutely. I would love for them to go to Dr. as in Dr. worldproductions.com. That's the website which shows you all the information about the competition. It shows you things that the women are doing that are representing. But if you want to see even state title holders and all of that, I would love for people to go to not only the Dr. World Productions Facebook page, but Instagram. These women are amazing. I mean, it's just, I can't tell you, so I would love for them to go there and see what they're doing and, just encourage that if they've never done a pageant. Most of my women have not done a pageant before, and they are just thriving. And I'm like a proud mama. I've got, I thought everybody was out of the house, but my fur babies, and being able to see them evolve and gain the confidence to take on the world in a different way. They're confident in their careers, but this gives them that twinkle in their eye. And so I'd love for people to go to Dr. World Productions, either Facebook or Instagram, and check it out.
And what are the requirements to join your pageant?
Well, basically 21 and up, obviously. And what we do is they fill out an application, and then we schedule a Google Meet call, actually. And we talk through the application. We talk through the requirements. My application even shows what would be required of them, not only as a contestant, but as a queen if they won. We talk through their fears, their anxiety, their questions about competition, and also talk about their goals or where they want to go. It's not a right fit for everybody. But if they are interested in that, I take their application, we talk through it, we see if it's a good fit, and then if it's a good fit, then we go. The only real difference between America and the United States is the age division. So if they're 21 to 45, they are in America, Dr. America, and if they're 46 and up, they're in Dr. USA, or United States of America. Registered trademark.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to use USA. But yeah, so that's the big thing, is being able to articulate what they want to do with it, and then seeing if it's a good fit. I don't make any money on the entry fees. It pays for their crown, it pays for their shirt, it pays for their sashes, and then basic. My accountant's not happy with me at this point. Someday I'll grow big enough that there might be something, but I really want to make sure that they go into also understanding what's expected, that I'm not going to put them on the cover of a magazine. I will help them if they, I'm not the one that's going to pay $20,000 for them to go to Europe. Well, I don't, I want to make sure they all have realistic expectations of what they want to do personally and what I can do professionally for them to help, and what the professional development activities are about. Then at the end of all of that, if they're interested in doing that, then we can move forward with it, and then the rest is history, as they like to say. So it really is 21 and up, except for the Princess program. And it's really about women that want to use social media for good. I don't want polarizing anybody. I just don't bring that. It's even in the agreement that they signed, because I want women that can have a good conversation, but don't polarize people. Explain to them, educate them why you feel the way you do. And if that's something they're not interested in, then it's not a good fit. And I just want to make it a good fit, because it's a win-win if it's a good fit. So that's basically it. So they can go to the website, drworldproductions.com, and fill out an application and send it in to me. Or if they just have questions, I can, if I have enough interest after the show of folks, I can do a group call to answer. But I hope that some tapped in. I had some people ask for more information, and I sent them your link and said, check this out tonight. I think it'll answer a lot of questions for you. So hopefully we'll get some response from that. Let's see.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, if you're watching, hello, welcome.
Exactly.
So I guess we are going to wrap up shortly. Are there any last words that you'd like to share with all of our viewers?
Oh, sure. Well, I have to say, this is a compliment to both of you, is that I love your show. I love that it's always positive. It's always about what people are doing to change the world. And I know that, we say world peace is what we want, but it really is. We just want the world to be a better place. And I love that your show is that way, that it's all about, women supporting women. It's about what we can do to help each other and others be their best selves. And I just want to compliment you, and I'm just thrilled that I was able to be on, because I have watched your shows and I really do enjoy that positive pageantry part. And we need more of it, because there's some good stories about life changing, and more people need to understand that there's brains behind the beauty, and there's that lifting each other up, and good things come. There's always negative in every field of everything, every sport, but this one can be powerfully good. So thank you for what you both are doing here and around the world.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yes. We've definitely had some of your queens on. We've had Angel Patel. We've also had Stacy. So it's been great getting to hear your girl stories and watching everyone's journey. I'm sure this isn't the last. So.
Oh, I hope not. Yes. Maybe we'll add that Miss Division someday.
Perhaps,
then she'll be back on.
And we've also had, I've interviewed Carrie as well on the sit down with Scott Dion Brown. So I've definitely been familiar with.
They're all very impressive.
They are. I'm so blessed. I'm really blessed.
And so are we, because we get to follow their journeys.
Exactly.
So Diana, or Dr. Diana, where can people follow you online if they're interested in getting to follow your journey through pageantry, if you ever make a comeback, as well as Dr. World Production?
Both Diana Lawrence on both Facebook and Instagram. Right now, my Instagram is and personally my Facebook is a lot of my girls and what they're doing. But yes, I would love for them to. And if I go back into it, if there's some opportunities down the road, I would love that. But I'm just Diana Lawrence. Just that. It's actually I lied. It's Dr. Diana Lawrence on Instagram. Diana Lawrence was already taken, and I didn't like the numbers because nobody can remember the numbers. So I changed it not that long ago to Dr. Diana Lawrence.
Amazing. And I think Michelle might be on here because she just added me as a friend on Facebook. So there you go. Liz. Exactly. Liz, where can people find you online?
If you want to find all things pageantry for me, you can follow me on Instagram at Elizabeth Marnock Pageantry. You can also find my makeup artistry accounts for pageants. If you're traveling to a pageant recently or upcoming, let me know. I can hop on with you and we can do some glam looks together. You can find me on Instagram at Elizabeth Marnock Artistry, as well as Facebook. And that's basically where I'm all at. So Regine, how about you?
You guys can follow me on, Michelle just messaged and said, great show. Thank you, Michelle. You can follow me on Facebook as well. Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at It's Regina Lena. You can also follow or subscribe to my YouTube channel here, where we are currently going live every Wednesday for the month of May. And then because Liz and I do have a lot of things going on in the summertime, we will take a break from June to about August. So make sure you follow us on social media to find out when we're coming back. We are on Instagram and Facebook at the Pageant Sit Down. I'm like, oh no, what is our Pageant Sit Down? But if you did enjoy today's episode with Dr. Diana Lawrence, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and follow all of these amazing women in their journeys, because we are all very, very busy.
Right.
Yes, and Michelle, if you're watching, I do see your messages coming through on Facebook. We are huge fans of yours, so hopefully we'll get you in when we are back in the fall. But in the meantime, Dr. Diana, I'm going to call you doctor because you earned those. You earned it.
13 years of college.
Exactly, you earned it. So Dr. Diana, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a blast getting to hear not just your story, but the story behind Dr. World Productions.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. And to everyone else, we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.